Welcome back to the series. Behind me is a V8-swapped MX-5. Now, if you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, I've done a full history on this car. It's called a Bullet Roadster. But in the previous episode, we actually got to turn the key for the very first time. I'm disappointed because it doesn't run very well, but at the same time, I'm excited because I need to get this thing working and rolling on the road so I can actually have fun with it. So stick around to see where we end up. Keen as a bean. Let's get into it. So I had the car running for a couple minutes and then it started smoking from the engine bay. I'm pretty confident it's just the heat wrap heating up and it starts to smoke. The instructions said that it would. I'm gonna go and start the car again, monitor the coolant, monitor my gauges. The erratic idle was starting to go away, so I really hope it's gonna just fix itself. It really might, so let's give it a go. I was probably a bit delusional to think that the engine was just going to fix itself miraculously. So what I'm going to do now, this is my last ditch effort before I call any backup. I need some help with this if I can't figure this part out. But pretty much, I've got a multimeter. I'm going to go ahead and check all the sensors to see if I'm actually getting voltage from both ends, whether that be when the engine's on and the sender is sending through current, or voltage to tell the ECU what to do, or whether that be power coming back into the sensor to actually work. There's a few sensors on here that I'm not really sure of. I can't really see a mass airflow sensor on this at all, and some people on the forums have pointed this out, which is very weird. But I've also got an idle screw which I've played around with, and I can't really see any change when the engine is on. So if this does not work, I'm going to have to call in someone who knows a bit more and also has access to a scanner tool so I can plug it into the ECU. So yeah, let's give this a try and see where we end up.
Okay, so from what I can see, all the sensors are receiving power. However, the last sensor I need to test is the O2 that is in the extractor. But I need the car to be warmed up so I can test whether the actual sensor is sending anything. And I'm going to have to start the car, warm it up and whatnot. And if it is sending, well, I'm going to see if it runs properly, because it was running properly the other day when I was testing the sensors while the car was on. It was actually running great. And it was really weird, the fact that I hadn't really done anything to change it up until that point. But I want to just try and see if I can drive it, really. I just need to fix up this car. I've had an issue with brake fluid spillage. All the brake fluid just dumped out from somewhere. I've topped it back up. I've cleaned all the brake fluid off the engine bay, and I still can't figure out where it's coming from. But that's not a this video problem. The car seems to be fine for now. Anyway, let's see how this thing runs. After running it, I can see a small puddle of oil. There is a bolt right there. I just need to take it off and seal it looks like.
But it's never really that easy, because the oil pump was also leaking and needed to come out, be resealed and be reinstalled. But unfortunately for me, this actually caused more problems than what it was worth.
So I did something extremely stupid. I started the car after reinstalling the oil pump. It was making a very loud tractor noise, and it didn't occur to me that the oil pump wasn't pressurizing the oil and the oil was not flying through the engine. The car ran for about 30 seconds until I realized and I turned it off. I did prime this car, but I had no idea that what I was missing was stuffing Vaseline in the oil pump, which is what everyone's telling me that I've done wrong. And yeah, I didn't know that that was a thing. So, best case scenario, I fill up the oil, I pressurize the system, I have oil pressure, happy days. Yeah, I may have damaged the engine, but the car will run. Worst case scenario, I have low oil pressure or no oil pressure, and I've done significant damage.
It's a few days later and I've had some time to think and just collect my thoughts on what to do now. I am aware that I could have damaged some things in the engine,
But I am also aware that there is a slight chance that I'm being over dramatic, and because my engine had pressurized oil before, that enough of the oil residue has prevented any damage from occurring. So I'm moving forward because I don't have any other choice. I've gone ahead and sent my oil pump away to get machined. I've gone and ordered some new cogs for my oil pump because the existing ones were scratched up and I don't want to reuse them. They are okay. I'm probably going to sell them, but I just wanted to make sure that the oil pump is Mickey Mouse this time. I've checked my pressure release valve spring and the parts that go with it. They are fine. I'm going to clean everything up, and I did buy some Vaseline or petroleum jelly this time because that's going to help me prime. So worst case scenario, I put it all together, I get the engine working, and something goes wrong in the future or instantly, and I'll be looking at between a 15,000 to 20,000 build, and that's in Australian dollars. And that just, it is what it is. I'm going to have to park this project for some time until I can work through that, or it works for now or for a long time and I'm okay with it. I am going to drop the oil and see how much damage there is. If I find metal shavings in the oil, it's a clear sign that some damage has occurred, but the engine is not seized, so it still cranks. I'm going to throw these parts in the car, I'm going to remove the spark plugs, and I'm going to crank it with the starter motor still. I don't like using the drill method because I don't want to get my distributor removed just in case I cause myself more problems and the timing's all out. My starter motor is easily accessible, it's not too expensive, and I've cranked it so much it's probably on its way out, so I'll just factor that into the cost of things. But with the spark plugs removed, at least I can crank the car more freely and I can get some oil pressure moving. I'll leave the filter off the car and I will see if the oil is coming through the oil pump, and then once I know that the oil is flowing correctly, I'll screw everything up and I'll start the car for the first time. I'm going to be moving forward and we're going to see together if the car is good and whether I've caused any damage, and hopefully I'll be driving this car in this video.
Got nothing unusual that I could find in the drained oil. I even put a magnet in there. There's no metal pieces or anything of that nature. I think the oil is this weird color because of the Vaseline that was in the oil pump. I'm curious to know, although my oil doesn't have any metal deposits, I'm checking to see whether the filter does. Okay, moment of truth. This looks pretty clean. Like I can't see any metal. Okay, that should be enough. I know this engine filter is not old, but it was on there when I had the engine on without pressure and when I had it on with pressure, so it was even on before this all happened. So either I'm extremely lucky and I have nothing in my oil filter, or it hasn't come through yet. But I had nothing in my oil either. It's showing oil pressure now when before it didn't. Then I'm going to make the assumption that it's got oil pressure, and I'm going to put everything back together, start it, and ideally I won't hear any loud noises like I did before. It should sound fine. I'm very anxious, I'll be honest, because this hasn't been a fun experience. So putting back spark plugs, everything I've disconnected back in. I'm going to clean the spark plugs while I'm at it, and then yeah, we're gonna hit start and see what happens.
Here we go. My lifters are sounding extremely noisy. Pretty much all I need to see is oil
oozing out and covering the lifters. I can see oil deposits, but I can't see oil or fresh oil coming out. So I'm going to crank it for as long as I can and see if any oil comes up. And if oil does come up, then I'm in the clear. I can probably try and start it and see if the noise goes away. If oil doesn't come up, then there's something wrong.
All right. You don't know how good it is to have a close friend who owns a mechanic shop and just knows what they're doing. I spiral, I start to freak out, and then Max gives me a call and tells me everything's gonna be okay. Because there is no shavings in my oil, no shavings in my oil filter, he's convinced that all I need to do is just wait for the oil to surface, but squirt the oil around the lifters to actually stop the noises from occurring. As I'm cranking it, I can't see any oil. I don't think the starter motor has enough push to get the oil up. I need to have the car on, or I need to use the drill method. And I should be able to squirt the oil that I need to around. This is the best thing we could come up with. Max from SchneidX Auto, he knows a lot of stuff. If you're in Melbourne, Victoria, you need to take your car to him, especially if you've got problems like I do. Like if you're working on your own car and you're getting fed up and you're gonna have to go to someone and spend thousands of dollars and probably not even get a good service or even get told what's wrong with it, Max is not going to do that to you. He's going to tell you exactly what's wrong with it. He's the only one working on the car, and he puts in a lot of time and effort. So if you are doing a project, or you just want to do your own car, or you have a car that you need to fix, take it to Max from SchneidX Auto. He's currently in Clayton South.
All right, here we go again.
Ride that has been so far. I know I'm not done, but the lifters got quieter as I progressed, or as the car was on. Max assured me from SchneidX Auto that if I was to let it run, drive it around, it seems like it's all going okay so far. I've sent him 1,000 photos and videos, and he's being extremely receptive, and his expertise is truly showing now, keeping me calm. So pretty much I've bled the coolant now. I've now sealed the rocket cover again after cleaning the surfaces. So that just leaves us with an overnight wait. I just want the RTV to do its thing, but it's all looking good so far. So driving it is probably the next step. If anything happens from here, I'm probably going to park it indefinitely.
Although I didn't get to drive it, I did get to move it up and down my driveway, wash the car, make it look nice once again, because it had sat for so long it was covered in a thick layer of dust. But there's still so much more to fix, like this clear wiring issue, and my oil temp gauge should not be doing that, and also coolant is not supposed to be on the floor either. So the next episode is going to be jam-packed, as I will be driving this car finally for the first time in a long time. But until then, you're more than welcome to look at other content that I release, as this car is a work in progress. See you next time. And make sure you follow my channel so you can keep up to date with all my new videos. Thanks.